If you map brows wrong, you could end up making a mistake with disastrous consequences. Well, in this video, I'm going to share my 10 years of mapping knowledge to give you a quick, foolproof system that will help you map brows perfectly every time and avoid the common mistakes I've seen so many artists make. But first, why do we need to map brows anyway? What are we trying to achieve? Eyebrows frame the whole face. Get them right and you get a flattering result. Get the balance wrong by even a millimetre and your client's face will look a mess. That's why we have to be so precise. And to get these crazily precise results, we're only going to use 3 simple things. Just some nylon thread, a Sharpie pencil and a sticky ruler. It's so easy, you can even do it on yourself. I'm going to go against how some artists teach you to map by starting off with my clients sitting up. Why? Because we live our lives upright and we're not going to be able to tell if our lines are all wonky if we're not looking at them straight. First, rub your Sharpie pencil on your nylon string and we're ready to go. So let's start with the first line. Getting perfect symmetry will all depend on getting this line right, so it needs to be right in the middle of the bridge of the nose. Don't use the eyebrows to measure this because they can be uneven. If you're struggling to see, then use your ruler to measure the centre point between the eyes. The next line decides where the start of the brow should be, so the rule of thumb is look at the tear duct and then place your line 3 or so millimetres closer to the nose. Now I'm going to draw the 3 horizontal lines that decide the height and width of the eyebrows. Using this technique will stop you getting brows at different heights, which will just make your client look like they're permanently quizzical. The first one we draw decides how low down the front of the brow will start. The easiest way to get this right is to put your Sharpie pencil or your little finger in the bridge of the nose and then put a line at the top. Make sure it's straight. This next line will decide how thick the brows will be. Ask your client what they want, but I always think it's best to go roughly off their natural thickness. The final line maps how high the arch of the brow should go. Have a feel and you'll see that the bone sticks out a bit, and where that kind of melts into the face, that's your highest point. You can literally sit your string on top of there and you should see the bone poking out underneath it. Now just make it level across to the other brow. You may have to adjust a bit, take a bit off one side or add a bit on the other, but we're looking for a nice level line. Right, onto the arches. This is easy. Just get your client to stare right in the middle of your forehead so they're looking straight ahead. This can feel a bit intense as you stare into each other's eyes, especially if you brush the hair behind the ears. Put your string at the edge of the nostril and straight across the middle of the pupil, and where it crosses our highest horizontal line, we now have our arch. Take the string from the same point and pass it across the very corner of the eye, and that's going to tell us where the tail should end. It's that easy. So now we're going to make sure we do the exact same thing on the other side by checking the measurements with our sticky ruler. We get to check all our lines are good, and as a bonus, your client gets to look like Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Showing my age there. So just line up the middle of the ruler with your centre line, see where the vertical lines are on your left side, and repeat it on the right. Now I'm going to switch it up a little. I'm going to lie my client down. Why? Well, because it's easier, and I get to sit down. All your important marks are on. Why make life harder? And now it's just like a connect the dots puzzle. We just connect the crosses with our string. The string also makes it so easy to draw the tail rather than if you try and do it by hand. Put it on the arch cross and just let it follow the brow bone until it crosses the tail line. When we put the bottom line in, just make sure you extend the line a little further than the arch, or that part of the brow can look a little fat. They're so much more elegant if you just go a little further. And then take your string from the tail and join up with it. And do the same on the other brow. Now just razor off any stray hairs from outside the shape and clean up any of your lines with a disposable eyeliner wand, and that's it. The only thing left to do is to sit your client up just for a final check of how everything looks, make sure all your lines are parallel and even and that you're happy, and then hand your client the mirror. This gets fast, clean, even results every time. But getting this right is a complete waste of time if you mess up this beautiful shape with the wrong pigment for your client's skin. So to show you how to make the right pigment choice every single time, you're going to need this video. Oh, good God.